Good morning. It's great to have you with us here in this amazing sanctuary. The only thing missing are you guys, but you're there anyway. And so we have a great service today. You heard him on Thursday with Reverend Charles. Well, it's Charles Holt is going to be doing our music today. So I know he will truly inspire us. So let's turn it over to the amazing Charles Holt.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. This is Charles Holt, and I'm so glad to be with you this day. Ask me, do you know who you are? The question and the answer is not very far. The song of the sages, the knowledge of the ages is living where you reside. You have the key that unlocks a door to enter in that sacred place you haven't gone before, where deep meets deep, soul to soul. Feel that connection as the truth unfolds. I am. You Yes, you are the key that unlocks the door to freedom and leads you to me. Look deep inside you, trust the force that guides you, it knows the way. Yeah, there's no separation, we're one and the same. A child of the Creator, known by different names. The Alpha and Omega, the eternal flame, it burns deep inside you. Do you know my name? I am. From the mountains to the oceans, I am. From the rocks to the trees, all the stars and constellations, I am. You are. We're one and the same, a child of the Creator, known by different names. Alpha and Omega, eternal flame, it burns deep inside you. My name, I am. From the mountains to the oceans, I am. From the rocks to the trees, I am. All the stars and constellations, I am. You are, we are. I am. I am.
So we have a lot happening this week at the center. On Monday, Reverend Charles is going to have a fabulous conversation with a dear friend of his. Her name is Carmen Delzell, and she had a vision, and she literally helped build the building that the Seattle church was in. And she's really involved with nonprofits. It's going to be a great conversation, so you don't want to miss that on Monday. On Tuesday, Reverend Charles and Jeffon Seeley continue their conversation on the book study that they're doing together on how to be an anti-racist. And you don't want to miss that. They are on chapter 8. And then on Wednesday, of course, we have our Sensational Six. And we never know what they're going to say, but it's always interesting. It's always very uplifting and very spiritual. On Thursday, Reverend Charles is having a great talk with a dear friend of Jerry Lynn. His name is Harold Payne, and he's a multi-platinum and Posey Award-winning songwriter whose soulful, uplifting songs and husky, heartfelt vocals have grace the stage, and he's going to be gracing our stage next Sunday. So get to know him before he performs next Sunday. And then, of course, Friday is Reverend Charles, Life on Love. And so you don't want to miss that either. And then on Saturday is our meditation group, and that's at 10 o'clock, just like all our offerings are. And so please tune in. We'll have one of our ministers will be leading that meditation. And then don't forget our other offerings. We have our Power of 8 on Wednesday. It's a really powerful, dynamic group. Set your intention, and miracles happen all the time. And then on Thursday, we have our Social Eights group, and that's a smaller group, and groups of 8 get together, and it's an opportunity to get to know people within our spiritual community. You don't have to be part of the community. You could be new to the community, but there's always some fun questions and an opportunity to come together and really learn about each other. So, and then also don't forget that on Sundays at 11 o'clock, we have our virtual prayer room. And just go to the web page for all of these different things that we have. You can click onto the virtual prayer room, and it will take you into a one-on-one prayer session with one of our practitioners or ministers. So please take advantage of all these wonderful things that we are offering you here at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. So we have a divine purpose. So let us join together in saying our mission statement. We are a dynamic, open, and positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives one heart at a time.
And now, as we move into that quiet time, that place of reflection, allow yourself to just relax, to allow life to flow through you. As we take that deep breath in and exhale out and relax.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love. to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done and everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, and everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to this new beginning, here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, get ready, my soul. Get ready, get ready, my soul.
And this is what I know, that there is one presence in this universe, one life. That life is God's life. A life of peace, beauty, wholeness. A life that is unified. And I recognize that presence, and I unify with that presence, knowing that it flows through me, as me. And as I recognize that presence within myself, I'm filled with joy, with happiness, with peace. And from that peace, I recognize the peace throughout all life. I allow that peace to fill my soul, to fill my mind, recognizing that all life is just an expression of spirit. And that expression is always and only the expression of expansion. And in that thought, that idea, that truth of expanse, I allow life to unfold perfectly. I align my thoughts with those of spirit, with the universe. I allow life to unfold perfectly. I recognize my oneness with all. And from that standpoint, I allow that peace, that harmony to fill myself. And in that fullness, I am able to give of myself. I am able to give that love. I am able to express that peace, knowing it is always expanding. And so from that vantage point, I am filled with such gratitude. I am filled with love. I am so very thankful. And in that space of gratitude, I release my word as law, knowing it is done perfectly and completely. And together we say, and so it is.
Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your joy will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your peace will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your truth will light my way. And your love will light my way. And your joy will light my way. And your peace will light my way. And your truth will light my way. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Now take a deep breath in and exhale all the way out. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. Now I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand, sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high, but never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I want to stay and feel the sharpest edges wash away. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. And when the sunset comes, my prayer will be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am I'm just a little smoother in your hands. Rolling river God, these little stones are smooth. It's only once the water passes
So now it is the time for you to give back. We know that the law of reciprocity works and that what you give returns back to you. And so there's so many ways on the screen there that you can support this message and value what you receive here every day of the week. You can hit that little button there, or you can go to you can scan, you can call the center, you can always send in a check. There's so many ways. Just go to the website if you have any questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all that you do so that we can continue to do all that we do.
We have some very exciting news. As many of you know, we've had several ministerial students in training for the past 2 years, the Sensational Six. You've probably joined them on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. If you haven't, please join in, because I tell you what, they are fantastic. Well, those ministers have completed all of their training, and some of them have submitted their proposals to our center, and they've been approved by the ecclesiastical arm of the center, as well as the board of trustees. And so ministerial work is really hard. These people have really dedicated themselves to be the lifeblood of our center, to support it spiritually and to support each one of you. I encourage each one of you get to know them, because each one of their ministries in and of themselves will be creating for you a world that works for everyone. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what they're going to be a part of the team doing. So we welcome them into their new vocation as ministers, and I'm going to turn this over to Reverend Charles, who will introduce each one of our brand new ministers. Reverend Charles.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. Before I get to my sermon today, it's important that we've been talking about introducing to you our 6 new ministers. And today, in lieu of an in-person installation, which we absolutely will do when we all get back together. We have so many activities to do when we get back together, don't we? I think our first Sunday service is going to last about 8 hours. So in lieu of doing a formal installation right now, I want to introduce to you and actually have these beautiful 6 individuals introduce themselves to you. So over the next 6-7 minutes, you're going to hear from all 6 of them introducing themselves to you and letting you know what they'll be responsible and accountable for here around the center in service to you, our community. So here, ladies and gentlemen, our new reverends.
If you've ever heard Dr. Joe say during service, "Hey William, go back a slide," or "Hey William, turn on the ceiling fans," well, I'm that William. I'm also the guy that painted the sanctuary, as well as designed the Circle of Love by the garden. And now, after 14 years, I'm now a reverend. So now I'm the reverend who's going to help start the men's group again, as well as be part of the planning committee for our social events. But more importantly, if you're ever stuck on the side of the road or lose your way, I'm there to help out and help you find that path and to find your direction. I'm Reverend William Conway. I'm that William. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hi, this is Reverend Cheryl Guest. I just wake up each day excited about living in this beautiful, intricate mosaic that is our world. And I am so blessed to be a part of this universal mosaic of love, laughter, and joy. That knowing I am here to express God in every aspect of my life. And so I'd just like to share a quote with you from Ralph Waldo Emerson. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. To show up and be authentic in your life and authentic in your being is the greatest thing that we can do. To always be our best. So I'm just, from Judy Garland, offering you a quote that says, always be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of someone else. Just show up. Live life to the fullest. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Gail. No, not that Gail, this Gail. And this video is all about me.
These are my pictures. This is me as a baby. This is me with bangs. I haven't had bangs since I was a kid. This is me loving being a ballerina. And this is my college graduation picture.
What you may not know about me is that in addition to being a minister, I'm trained as a clinical chaplain and a spiritual care counselor. If today I had to choose one word to describe myself, it would be the word sparkle. This is my ministry, healing through loss. I can help you navigate loss and transformation. This is me now. Honestly, in 10 years, who knows who I'll be? All I know is, this is me, right now.
Hi, I'm Reverend Dale Olansky, and I am so honored and grateful that I've been asked to serve as a staff minister at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. I cannot wait to serve all of you in our wonderful spiritual community. And now this is what I would like for you to know about me and my ministry. I came to our center in 2001 when Dr. Tom Costa was the senior pastor, and I was hooked after the first service. I went on to receive my practitioner license in 2008, and in 2012 I became the lead practitioner. I published my first book in 2019, Fear to Faith, A Daily Guide to Finding Solace in an Uncertain World, and I'm in the process of publishing my second book, The Art of Being a Practitioner. My ministry can be summed up in 2 words, spiritual empowerment. I'm here to awaken people to their spiritual identity so they can be free to express themselves and use their innate divine power to create a joyful and fulfilling life. There are many ways that I will be bringing my ministry to the center: teaching classes, working with small groups like my Sacred Circles, coordinating our pastoral care program, leading our practitioner corps, doing one-on-one work with congregants, and when we're open up again, I will be reinventing our Spirit of Women group. I'm looking forward to being a part of this beautiful center and your leadership team. Namaste.
Hi, I'm Reverend Lori Savage, and I am just tickled to get to introduce myself that way as Reverend. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm delighted to have landed here at Centers for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. I look forward to getting to know all of you, to sharing my journey with you, but more importantly, to hearing about your journey and supporting your journey. I am all about the application of these principles. How do we take them from here to here and then live from our heart and demonstrate them in our lives with clarity, focus, ease, and grace, so that we're each contributing that which we came here to contribute in a very joyous way. So that's where my passion lies. I can't wait to start teaching classes. I'm working with you all in small groups and one-on-one. And in the meantime, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to get to know you. My email is reverendlorisavage@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you. And I can't wait till we're all back together again soon in the center. So until then, namaste.
Hello, my name is Reverend Brad Wenker. A lot of times to get to know somebody, we want to know what work they've done or where they've traveled. I think the most important thing I'd like you to know about me is I love talking about and teaching spiritual principles and science of mind. And I love to pray for myself, for friends and family, and for you. A couple of upcoming ministries I'll be involved in is we're starting a men's group. Reverend William and I will be facilitating that. And I'm also going to start a small group for caregivers. This is an amazing community we have at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. And if you think I particularly could somehow support you along this personal journey, let me know. I don't know you, but I love you. Take care.
And so now it is time for Reverend Charles' talk. So I'm so looking forward to it. So please sit back and enjoy this inspirational talk.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. It's another great day to be together. We've already had such an extraordinary meditation and music, and I love how I use the word worship. I love how we appreciate life together. I love how we come together and appreciate the truth that sets us free. And today I want to talk about that. The fundamentals that Ernest Holmes laid down, undergirded by some other ancient teachings, so that we can remember back to fundamentals. Fundamentals are important. You know, most of you know I grew up in the sports world. I know a lot of you didn't. Some of you may have. But the first thing that we learn in competitive sports are fundamentals. I think the first thing we learn really in anything in life are the fundamentals. What are the fundamentals? In basketball, which is a sport I grew up loving, it's dribbling. Just learning how to dribble with both hands, the ball up and down. In prayer, the fundamentals are the 5 steps of affirmative prayer that we teach. In sales, I really don't know what the fundamentals are in sales, so I don't know. I'm not going to go there. But anyway, in anything, we learn the fundamentals first. And what do the fundamentals allow us to do? They allow us to fly. Fundamentals allow us to improvise. Fundamentals allow us to start with the very basics and then move into a place where we can be charismatic, where we can move into a place to be spontaneous, where we can move into a place to allow the Spirit's quote unquote magic to happen in our life. But it always starts first with the fundamentals. Fundamentals allow us to do the things that we really want to do. You know, in school, the fundamentals are what? 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 2 = 4. And then when we start to learn those things, we can move on to what? Calculus. Anyway, those are the things we can do. But what does calculus allow us to do? What does algebra and trigonometry allow us to do? Fly space shuttles into space. Make magic in our human experience. We first start with fundamentals, and then we move on to the other things that allow us to have so much fun and be creative and demonstrate and manifest so many good and beautiful things in our lives. So let's talk about, my talk today is called Recognize, Unify, and Fly. Recognition and unification are the two fundamentals that we espouse and that we teach and that we practice in affirmative prayer. And I want to start with this idea from Ernest Holmes. He says, there is, and again, this is fundamentals, gang, fundamentals. There is but one presence in the universe. Since it is in and through everything, it must be in and through you. The presence is life itself. Its nature is love and givingness. Now, just these few statements right here are packed with truth, are packed with so much goodness for us. There is but one presence in the universe. Just that idea, if we say you meditated on that for a month, every day, for 30 minutes a day for a month, there is but one presence in the universe. What would that do to our idea of otherness? In what ways would that obliterate the idea that there's an other over there that I have to be afraid of or defensive against, rather than someone to dance with, someone to interact with, and someone to understand? What if I meditate for a month on the idea that there is but one presence, and since it is in and through everything, it must be in and through me? What does that do to my sense of being part of the collective? To be connected to my brothers and sisters, no matter what they look like, no matter what they smell like, no matter how much money they have, no matter their lot in life, that somehow it is in and through everything, and it must be in and through you, that you are animated by a presence, that you are given life by a fundamental presence of this presence is life itself, and its nature is love and givingness. Have you felt its love and givingness recently? Have you felt the power and presence and love of life, the power and presence and love of God recently? Its nature is love and givingness, and it is you. Already we've established that there is one presence, and it is you. We've already established recognition, that we recognize there is one presence, and unification, that it is my life and that it is your life. And there's tremendous comfort in knowing that its nature is love and givingness. And what does that mean for each one of us? That we are called to be a lover, and we are called to receive love. That we are called to give, and because its nature is givingness, we are called to receive, to accept the blessings that are everywhere. And as we continue through this lesson, I hope to illuminate some ideas to help us do that. So let's keep moving on. The similar idea, parallel idea from the Bhagavad Gita. And so The Bhagavad Gita is a story, a principle-based story, which I love. If you haven't checked it out, I invite you to check it out at some point. Arjuna, who's a character in the Bhagavad Gita, behold my forms. So this is the presence. This is the Lord. This is the Almighty talking to Arjuna. Arjuna, behold my forms in the hundreds and thousands, various, divine, of every shape and hue. See now the whole of this universe, the movable and immovable, and whatever else you wish to see, unified as one in my body. Now you see we went from prose to poetry. And you can hear in the poetry, look, there's only one thing happening, but look how many different ways it shows up. And what that says to me is, look how beautiful you are. And what it says to me is, it's time to appreciate how beautiful I am. And it's time to appreciate the beauty that we see everywhere, but we must have eyes to see it, ears to hear it, a mind that perceives it, a heart that perceives it. Behold my forms in the hundreds and the thousands and the millions and the billions. How many different people are on the planet now? 7 point something billion. In the billions, various divine of every shape and hue. There's no one body the same, no fingerprint the same. Do you appreciate your body? Do you appreciate your mind? Do you appreciate your skill set? Do you appreciate what you're capable of? And are you honing those things that are beautiful about your life? Are you cultivating the richness of your life? See now the whole of this universe, the movable and immovable. The movable that is me, the immovable that is the tree. I could go down a Dr. Seuss path there, but I'm not going to. See now the whole of this universe, the movable and immovable, and whatever else you wish to see, unified as one in my body. The body of the universe, the magnificent expression of the allness, the fullness, and the oneness of life itself. And do you know that you're a key player in that? Do you know how important you are in the scheme of things? In the expression of the one body, that it would be out of balance if you weren't giving yourself right now, if you weren't living right now, that everything is on purpose and everything is on point. And you are a fundamental part of the orchestral movement of the whole Spirit of God as it exists right now, being itself. Good will obliterate everything unlike itself, even as the sun dissolves the mist. Now, most of you know by now, I love golf, and one of the magical, mystical times to play golf is early in the morning. And early in the morning, there can be a mist, especially where I come from in the Pacific Northwest with temperature changes and things like that. On the early morning on the golf course, you can kind of look out. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. Standing on the first tee, and you see just a mist kind of hanging over the golf course, hanging over the greenery, kind of dancing within the trees. And as the sun continues to rise over the course of the day, the mist burns off by the warmth and the glow of the sun. Now that mist is a beautiful mist. I think it's beautiful, but it also obscures my view to a certain extent. If the mist is a little too thick, I might not be able to see my target down the fairway. And so when the sun rises and continues to rise and warms the earth and does its thing and imbues the golf course with its radiant light, the mist begins to dissolve and disappear. And that is the idea of life's fundamental nature of loving and givingness, otherwise known as good. Good will obliterate everything unlike itself, even as the sun dissolves the mist. Meister Eckhart said it this way: a perfect and true will is one completely aligned with God's will and void of everything else. That will obliterate the mist that might be fogging your sight. A perfect and true will is one completely aligned with God's will and void of everything else. He continues by saying, the more a person succeeds in following God's will, the more they join in union with God. Again, recognition that there's only one power and presence God, the Holy Spirit, the whole Spirit, life, the presence, the more they join in union with God, a unification with that presence to understand that it is our life, that it is my life, and that it is your life. So if someone wished to touch him, he would first have to touch God. Like you live within a force field of godness, of goodness. And if someone would come to interact with you, they first have to move through the presence of the whole Spirit of life to gain entree into an interaction with you because you're so aligned with life's will for you. If someone wished to approach her, she would first have to pass through God to be totally aligned with God's will. Negation may be an experience and a fact, yet it can never be an ultimate truth. Life cannot operate against itself. Always the negative is overcome by the positive. Good cannot fail to overcome evil. Someone said at one point that evil is live backward. Have you ever heard that? Look at it. EVILLIVE. Evil is to live backward. I'm not even sure quite what that means, but I'm tickled by it in this moment. Essentially, it means you're not in alignment with the source and the true and the trueness and the essence of your life, who you really are. You're living backward. Negative experience may seem to exist for a brief moment, but truth exists forever. We're going to keep unpacking this idea. If we need to come back to this quote, we will. Meister Eckhart, again, says it like this. That first quote was Ernest Holmes. Here's Meister Eckhart. By aligning itself with God's will, the soul takes on the taste of God. Grief, bitterness, and sweetness, darkness and light, all become divine, whatever happens to this person. Why am I going down this rabbit hole right now? Because there's some craziness happening in the world, and we're well aware of it right now. And there's a lot of grief and a lot of anxiety, a lot of bitterness. And yet, back to the fundamental point, when we recognize there's only one thing happening, and we unify ourselves with that idea, which is to submit our will to God's will, to life's will, we understand that our soul takes on the taste of God, also known as good, also known as beauty, also known as the benevolent presence of the magnificence of life. All become divine, whatever happens to this person. By aligning itself with God's will, your soul, my soul, takes on the taste of God. Grief, bitterness, and sweetness, darkness and light, all become divine, whatever happens to this person. Whatever happens. What challenges are you facing right now? What's concerning you right now? What are you considering right now that's difficult? In whatever area of life it is, are you challenged? And even in the midst of challenge, do you feel bitterness or sweetness? Do you feel opportunity or shutdown? Consider what your challenges are. Consider what you think the walls in front of you might be. Consider what you think the shutdowns in your life might be. The anxieties or the possible depressions, the monetary challenges, the bodily issues, health challenges. Feeling shut down that you don't have any creative expression during this time. All become divine, whatever happens to this person. Because your soul is aligned with the will of God. There's a story of a scholar. There was a scholar who was on his way to church and saw a poor man sitting on the side of the road. And the scholar said to the poor man, "Good morning. I wish you a good morning." And the poor man said, "I've never had a bad morning. No matter if I'm hungry or cold or if it's raining or snowing, I praise life. I praise God. That is why I never have a bad morning." Well, the scholar says, "Well then, I wish you good luck for your day. And the poor man says, I've never had bad luck. I always live in the presence, and I feel that what it does is the best for me. Whatever life sends me, be it pleasant or unpleasant, I accept it with a grateful heart. Therefore, I have never had bad luck. And the scholar says, well, then I wish you happiness today. Be happy. And the poor man says, I've never been unhappy. All I desire is to follow life's will, God's will. He goes on to say, I've so totally surrendered my will to the presence. I've so totally surrendered my will to the presence that whatever it wants, I want. I've never been unhappy. What do we hear out of that story? There's a recognition of life's fundamental blessing. And there's an understanding by the poor man sitting on the side of the road that he is living that expression of life. So he's never been in bad luck. He's never had a bad morning. He's never been unhappy because he's so aligned with the presence. That's my prayer for you today, is to be so aligned with it that you never have a bad morning, that you don't even consider luck. There's no luck in God. There's a movement of the heart and the mind to be aligned. A movement of the heart and the mind to be aligned with the presence. And that you're never fully unhappy. You just have moments, again, as Ernest Holmes says, a moment of negation, but not a lifetime of it, not even a day of it, just a moment, a temporary moment of what we might call setback or challenge. But we understand, I'm not unhappy. I live in the flow. I live with the presence. And somehow, back to what Meister Eckhart said, somehow the soul takes on the taste of God and all become divine no matter what happens to you. Everything is transformed and transmuted and uplifted into divine eyesight, into a divine idea, into divine goodness, because you're fundamentally aware of who you are. God's living enterprise. God's living enterprise. And God will pick you up. All right. Ernest Holmes, I hope you all got that. Ernest Holmes invites us to affirm, I refuse to contemplate evil as power. I know that it will all dissolve and disappear in the light of love. I know that hate cannot exist where love is recognized. I turn the searchlight of truth upon every apparent evil in my experience. This light dissolves every image of fear, doubt, and anxiety. The manifestation of good is complete. Love makes the way clear before me. I am guided into an ever-widening experience of living. I love this. I am guided into an ever-widening experience of living. Ever-widening, not narrowing. I love this, the idea that I was listening to a baseball game many years ago, and Felix Hernandez, I happened to be at this baseball game, by the way. Felix Hernandez pitched a perfect game. Now, this rarely happens. For you baseball fans out there, you know, it's a rarity. I was at that game with my good friend, Reverend Dr. David Alexander. We enjoyed every moment of it. About the fifth inning, I said, David, nobody's been on base yet, have they? And he said, no, I don't think so, bro. So later, anyway, he ended up pitching a perfect game. And if you want to know what it is, go look it up. It's actually when nobody even gets on base. It's profound. The guy that was calling the game, I heard in an interview a couple of days later, said, you know, there's this, he said, people talk about the jinx, that when something magnificent's about to happen, there's an announcer's curse. You say it, and then it doesn't happen, like somehow the announcer had something to do with it not happening. He said, I'm not here to do a narrowcast. I'm here to do a broadcast. I'm not here to make the audience smaller. I wanted to call out that it could be a perfect game because it's a broadcast. There's an invitation from Ernest Holmes today for you and I. I am guided into an ever widening experience of living, that my heart expands to welcome more people, more experiences, more beauty, more grace, more love, more joy into myself so that I can see more goodness, experience more goodness, feel more goodness. I am guided into an ever widening experience of living. My every thought and act is an expression of the goodness that flows from life. Rumi, the beloved Sufi poet, says it this way: "Oh, my beloved." And if there was ever a romantic, Rumi is the one, okay? If you're trying to date somebody and woo and wed somebody, read them some Rumi, all right? "Oh, my beloved, take me, liberate my soul, fill me with your love, and release me from both worlds. When I set my heart on anything but you, a fire burns from the inside. Oh, my beloved, take away what I want. Take away what I do. Take away everything that takes me from you." Recognize who you are. Consciously unify. Move your heart and your mind to align. And make today the best day ever. Much love.
Isn't that an amazing talk? It was so inspiring. So please continue to join us all throughout the week. Avail yourself of all of the great offerings we have. It's so wonderful to have you with us. It's so wonderful to have you participating and supporting. So let us now do a closing prayer. Recognizing this power, recognizing that there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is my life. And because it is my life and because of the oneness, I know that this life is also your life. So as we unify with this power, this presence, we know that whatever we desire manifests once we set that intention. So I set the intention for each and every one of us to be living a life of our dreams, to be living a life of wholeness, prosperity, joy, perfect health. We claim it. We know that it is the truth of our true being, and we focus on that. We know that what we focus on, we bring into our awareness. So grateful to have this wonderful ministry. So grateful for all our fabulous new ministers that we have, our powerful practitioners, our congregation. This is one family. This is a unified family, a unified group of consciousness that each one of us is creating this world of joy, peace, love for everyone. And so we come together always, even when we're not together, we are together in that consciousness of our oneness. So I am so grateful for this day, for this music, for our practitioners, our ministers, for this center that is such a rock, such a pillar of light, a beacon of light in this community. And I know all is well, all is very well, all is unfolding perfectly. So I release my word as the law, knowing that this is the truth, knowing that this is so, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Namaste, everyone. Have a fabulous week.